All right, so this is Fabsan, Fabian here. I'm with Lukas today.
Hello.
We've received quite a few questions on my Instagram since I had a lot of requests on my car this year, especially since we started putting videos online. So I thought it was nice to do a nice Q&A. And since most of the technical questions I can answer myself, I brought Lukas on the table. It's going to be easier.
All right. Probably, yeah.
The AMG GT R is well known for a weak cooling brake system. What did you upgrade on your car? Well, Lukas, what's on my car?
That's a quite, let's say, simple brake upgrade for now, because your car came with steel brake system, not the ceramics. In this case, we will have a walk around later around the car, or some pictures. It's PFC brake disc in the front, Dixel pads all around, fluid, and especially added cooling.
Yes.
That's the main thing, actually.
What is the cost to upgrade the GTR to reach a sub 7 like Fabsan did? Well, Lukas has an answer to this that is pretty simple. Is the car is able from factory almost, we could say.
Yeah. I mean, if you know the 711 from Sport Auto,
Yes.
Back then was a huge thing. It's still a huge thing. Obviously, some manufacturers were able to go with better times. But when it comes to the cost, it's actually not easy to give a cost out right now, because it depends on the base car. If you buy a used GTR, now you can have a nice car for, let's say, in Germany for 120,000 euros. But this car probably wouldn't come with the track pack. So you don't have bucket seats, you don't have the roll bar, you don't have the harness inside. So this would alone be like 10K to add. But if you have a car that comes with this, it would be mainly the alignment.
Yep.
Then obviously,
Cooling package maybe?
cooling package for the brakes, yes. And, well, last but not least, also a matter of the tires.
What's the difference between your car and the GTR Pro? So when I bought my car, I was looking in between two, a normal one or a Pro one. Pro one being facelift also. And I knew the Pro one had a few bits that Lukas will detail now. But also on my price range, I wanted to see if I could get somewhere quick with a normal GTR. But I know the cars are a little bit different from factory already, huh?
Yeah, when the car was new, it was, so to say, it was a fair price, because the base price in Germany was around 30,000 more, plus minus, on compared to a base GTR. But for that, you got a better suspension. You had aero bits with carbon package 1. There was just one option. You had carbon seats. You have some suspension parts also. So, for example, the stabilizers are different in the back. The upper wishbone is different. So, there are many bits. You can also look it up, because maybe just mentioning it is not good enough. Even the roof is a little bit different, But some bits are just visual. Most parts are really technical. There is no difference in the power of both cars, so even the particle filter of the Pro is not really an issue, to be honest, because power delivery and the particle filter, it makes the car a little bit more silent from factory. Yeah. Obviously something we can fix, but when it comes to the technical side, the base price was fair. Yeah. You got a limited edition car, 750 cars built, but now it's a different thing, because you can get a nice GTR for 120, 130, and the Pros are rather in the nearly 200 region, 190, 200. So, obviously, if you already have a GTR Pro, we can offer some upgrades up to even 850 horsepower track pack.
What's needed to reach a Black Series performance on a normal GTR? So these questions I had 2 times. I know the price difference is huge, so I think this question is in 2 steps. It's depending if you're looking for the power of a Black Series to, fight on the highway, Autobahn, and whatever, or if we're talking track upgrades. So I would say, first step, power. Yes, you can reach pretty easily the power of this car.
Yeah.
On mine, you could go on steps. You can go up to 650, then 777 horsepower, 850. Or these upgrades are available already. This for straight line very easily, but on a track, I'm not sure we could reach a Black Series power.
Depends on the track actually, because the question is, do you need the aero to be working properly? I mean, obviously the aero of the Black Series even works at lower speeds, yes, but it mainly shows up on quicker tracks. Spa, Nurburgring, yes.
Okay.
A shorter GP circuit where you don't have that many high speeds. You can also just, go to the Pro or add to the Pro package. The same what we have here with a GT4 style wing in the back, some add-ons in the front, some curtains in the underpart of the car. So actually, to be honest, this car behind me actually even has smoked already some stock Black Series on tracks like Estoril or here the GP circuit. Obviously, always depending a bit on the driver. How bad do you want to push the car? But let's say this car behind me is already at a similar level, as long as you don't need the full aero to be working like the Nordschleife.
Okay. A lot of big names are known around the Nürburgring. Why did you bring your GTR to Opus, and who's Opus? When I bought the Mercedes, even before I bought it, I started emailing Lukas at Opus because I've known Lukas for a few years here around the track, and his knowledge is very well renowned here. And when I bought the car, even before I bought it, I started asking questions. Should I get this, what this, what this, what this? And where do we go next year with the car? So many people know Lukas also for different branding, but what's Opus, Lukas?
Well, Opus is a new name for what we have been doing I have been doing since 22 years already in this business. So even during my studies as an automotive engineer, I've already been self-employed and started, doing OE developments with a friend of mine, and this tuning thing was always a passion for me, and I started, digging deeper on some projects. So actually one of my very first projects was a C55 AMG T model, which I tuned to 650 horsepower, which in 2005 and 6 was insane. Crazy. Yeah. The car had this was really supercar power with CLK DTM parts fitted to it, CLK DTM transmission, SLR cams, many things. So this was this was the start for this what I'm still doing now, and always been focusing since then on the AMG brand.
We see Til Motorsport on your stories. What's Til Motorsport? Well, Til Motorsport is basically Stefan came to me at the last track day. We talked about my car a little bit, and he brought me back to Lukas that I already knew, because now they work together. So what could you say about Til and Opus?
Yeah, we started a few years ago, basically under Corona. Stefan from Til reached out to me and asked some questions about, how we could cooperate, reselling parts from us. And in the end, we just, developed and ended up in a business relationship. And this is what we are still doing, doing things together. So it will be in the right direction. I mean, with Til Motorsport, there will be also other brands which will be served, but through other sub-companies like the BMW market. Right. In the very next future also Porsche, but in this field I will not be the one dealing with the Porsches. So for example, there are some markets like the Portuguese market or Spanish market where the Porsche dealers don't want to sell Manthey parts. Yeah, then you can reach out to Til Motorsport, and we will be able to supply Manthey parts through Til Motorsport.
What's your setup on the car regarding mapping, TC, ESP and all that? So mapping, Lukas will explain you how I drive my car. ESP is fully off. When I'm driving Cup R above 10 degrees outside, my TC is on 80% opens, which means I'm only on 20% or 2 red bars helped, if I could say, or limited. If I drive Cup 2 and this is like TF, I go at 50% because we're not pushing the same. We don't want to take any stupid risks. So that's my 2 setups basically. And on the road, I drive it usually on the 3 first bars. Everything else is help. So 80% open, 50% open, or 20% opened. Regarding mapping of my car, you've done a little bit something.
Yeah, it's not really much we've done. Actually, the problem with the car is, and that's the only way actually, when people hear about some turbo damage or blown engines on these cars, it's typically, I have to say, because of unexperienced tuners in the field of running these cars on the track. So maybe the tune works well on the road, but there are some things that happen with these cars on the track which can only be determined if you have the right data logging systems, if you actually have the experience and you run maybe the cars yourself. So like, you know, really sticking a data logger, doing a whole day, and then you see, oh, after the third lap, we get this issue or that issue, so we need to address that. So when it comes to the maximum numbers, your car just has 20 horses more peak power than stock. But stock, they already show like 610. So we are in the, let's say, 630 horsepower. So it's not like, you know, it's not a big difference. But I think the 50 Newton meters more, you feel it has more torque. When you shift into the next gear, it's not as lazy as it was maybe before. And we've... Especially with the stock turbos, that's the thing people have to understand. You have a limit of what the turbos can supply, you know, in the total amount of air going through, in the boost, and as a result in the power. So you will not have more power if you rev it up to 7. If you have bigger turbos, like on this car, that's a different thing. Then you have like really, the more you rev, the more power you have. It's a different thing. On the stock map, we don't have even the possibility to go to 600, because some people, like some tuners say, yeah, you can tune a GTR to 670 horsepower, 680 or whatever. Yeah, but that will be 670, 80 horsepower at 5,500, and then it just goes down. So maybe in a later video we can show some diagrams about it, but it's really like, you know, this is about drivability. But we also updated the car to like the newest ECU software version, and also the transmission is now a little bit faster than it was in the original state.
Yes, very right. And also the main stuff for me was the mapping had to be flat. I didn't want no turbo effect like, you know, like the 997 turbos. I want something flat as possible, because when you're in mid corner, like miss, and you want to flat it out pretty quick, if the car just starts running and then pushes, you're going to have your trouble controlling it. Now, the map that I have is absolutely flat. So it's like an NA engine, big NA engine. Yeah. And I can push in the corners, same in Breitscheid or Exmüller. I just blast it and, you know, control is total. So mapping was insane, and it's perfect. And it sounds so good too. You have to mention the sound is insane, huh?